Alright, boys and girls, we have an exciting day today. We have the MOGA by PowerA XP5-X Plus. So it looks like an Xbox controller. That's really the main appeal here, and it has a little clip for the games. It's really meant to shine with the Project xCloud, now called Xbox Game Streaming, of course. It has little buttons on the back. I have previous videos on PowerA controllers for the Nintendo Switch. I've never used an Xbox PowerA controller. So here it says it works with mobile, cloud gaming, or laptop PC. I bought this from T-Mobile. I actually reached out to PowerA and they just straight up ignored me. So, and I pre-ordered it from Amazon. So I had originally pre-ordered it from Amazon, but it wasn't going to get delivered, and now it says currently unavailable. I saw it on T-Mobile's site and it was available. I was ordering cases for my Rebel phone, and then I just saw this on there and I was like, well, hell, let's give it a shot. And I did, and they sent it right out, which is pretty great. So in the box we have, this is a substantial clip, 2 sets of cords, or 3 sets of cords. So this is a USB-A to a USB-C that unplugs into a micro USB. And then we have a micro USB to a, once again, a USB-C that unplugs into a micro. And then we have a very long micro USB to USB-A. And you can see on the back of here we have 2 ports. It's weird. I watched ETA Prime's video on this. Essentially, one of these ports will do a data connection and one's like a battery connection. So you can use it to charge your phone or use the data connection, but not both at the same time apparently, which is an odd choice. There are buttons on the back. Not someone like that, because you can program it to do stuff. You can see, so here is like the button to charge your phone, and there you can tell the battery power. So it does have some battery already. You can make it USB or Bluetooth, like that. I really like this green under the controllers, and the little green touching the arrows pretty good. The buttons look pretty good. This is your standard Xbox controls for that. And then of course your bumper buttons look pretty good, bumpers and triggers. Yeah, so this will switch, and this is an actual button that depresses. You can see it lighting up there. So you can see, you know, USB or Bluetooth. You can switch it back and forth. D-pad feels pretty good. So this is not an Xbox official controller. It's an Xbox officially licensed controller from PDP. See, it looks almost the same. This one's much, much heavier. And here is an official Xbox controller. I mean, obviously it's a cool color, but it's not the white one that came with Xbox X. But I ordered it from Amazon, and it is an actual Xbox, officially, not just officially licensed, but an actual Xbox controller. I use this one for GeForce Now on my Chromebook, essentially. So it's pretty much about the same size. The Xbox official controller is heavier. PDP is much lighter. Yeah, I mean, there's a drastic difference between weight between the PDP. Now this one's a wired controller, not wireless, so that's a difference there, of course. And if you look on the, obviously the back of the Xbox does not have buttons. These essentially line up the same. The sync button and the sync button are kind of similar. Obviously there's an extra USB port here. Looks like it's pretty similar curve here. Really, I don't know there's a lot of difference. You can see the painting is pretty similar. You can see even the grooves on the side of these thumbsticks, whatever you want to call them, are pretty similar as well. I'm sure the camera can pick that up. There are those little grooves on here, like there are on here. There's more grooves on top than there are on top of this button, but the sides are grooved, or textured, I guess, and it's smooth here, whereas it's textured on here. Obviously the Xbox button is much higher, and it's in the middle here. On the PDP one, you can see they kept the same format, where the Xbox button's higher and these buttons are in the similar spots, and it's a little different here. But the distance between these controls and the buttons are pretty similar, if not exactly the same. Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty much almost exactly the same. Then you have this clip guy here. That's this screw, I guess, to tighten it up. This part holds your phone. So you can kind of see here, it expands pretty big. For example, I will be using my Samsung Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, and we can just go ahead. You can see here's the Note 20 and the pins on this side, so you notice the new one, which is the big one. I'll put on this heavy duty case, which is the biggest case that I have for it. So this is going to be one of the biggest phones you're going to buy. And you still have room here, right? You could even probably, if you have an outer box, it should probably still fit. But you can see, should be no problem fitting a Samsung phone on here. So if you have a much smaller phone, I would assume it's going to fit no problem. For example, here's my Note 10 Plus. It fits just fine, right? I mean, obviously you would take the case off to play it, but that's how we have it set up now. All right, and then even if we have an old phone, like this is the LG Stylo 2 Plus with an outer box, and it fits in there as well. So you're going to be hard pressed, I think, to find a phone that's not going to fit in that case. All right, and then to put this on here, there's padding here, which is nice, and padding here. So I think you essentially just put that there, and then, yeah, so there's like a little groove thing here. There you go. That's on there. And then you would adjust this, and then you can tighten it up. And once you tighten it, it does not move. So yeah, you can get it out of your way. So in theory, if you wanted to play or boom, 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 yeah, I mean, that works just fine. Or you can change it to a different angle there, so it's up a little higher. And you know, all you gotta do is just unscrew one side, and then it moves, and then you can tighten it up. So if you want to have this weird ass angle, you could too. I wouldn't recommend that though. And then to get it off, you just push on there, and it comes off pretty easily, which is nice. In other videos, I've shown this SN30 Pro Plus, the 8-bit do, which has a very nice clip as well. The difference is this clip is much harder to get off. It will also hold the phone. And it's built more like a cross between a PlayStation and an old school Super Nintendo controller. But it's easy to get the phone out. But getting this thing off, you always feel like you're gonna break it. Like, almost, that happens a lot when I take it off. It's kind of a pain in the ass. I really like this controller, but at least for me, anytime I take this thing off, I'm almost always doing that. And see, it's like this two-piece clamp on thing, so that's about as high as it goes. Let's see which clamp. This clamp gets a lot bigger. So if you had a super large phone, I guess you could use the SN30 Pro, but it's obviously not going to feel like an Xbox controller. So we have this little book. Just kind of tells you what all your buttons do. Tells you your setup here. For video purposes, I'm going to use this little stand. In real life, I would totally use this. It's just going to be a little awkward for me to try to hold it in front of the camera while using that. It says right here, for charging mode, use the 6-foot controller. Connect the micro USB into the lower port on the top of the controller. So, I'm just going to use, yeah, so for charging mode, to charge this device, you just plug it in to a power source. I'm going to use this battery pack just for video purposes. And you can see it lighting up and charging right here. So that's pretty good. So there's 4 LEDs. One will be 25, 50, 75, and 100%. So now we should be at 75%, which is pretty good. At any point, you can press this button to tell you a charge indicator. Obviously, it's charging now, so it will show that. But if we take that out, so now you can just press the charge, and it lights up to show you. And then if you want to use this to charge a phone, there's an integrated power bank. So you can connect the standard end here into the top portion. Alright. Alright, so now we're plugged in and we turn it on. You can see it's now charging my phone. So that's pretty neat. I mean, in real life, I'm probably not going to use that. I mean, I do travel for work and stuff, but I'll usually generally have one of these power banks with me. But it's a cool little gimmick, I guess. I'm going to turn that power charge off. Just this little switch here. You can see that's the charging and not. Oh, the green button is the program button, I see. So if you wanted to map those controls on the back, these controls, with that green button, you could. Alright, so now we're going to try wired mode. So we'll put this middle switch to USB. This little short guy we're going to plug into here. You can see the bottom one is the micro USB. It goes deep in there. Alright, and then here I'm just going to plug it into my Note. And let's just try ourselves a game. Go to the game launcher, and let's just try some Sonic. You can see my cord plugged in here. I just hit B and it worked. You can see it seems to be recognizing stuff. So that worked as a start button. It's pretty good. And B jumps. A goes here for some reason. So that works. We're on, like I said, we're on USB, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna quit this game. Go back to the game launcher and let's try NBA Jam. These are games that are just downloaded from the Play Store, so it recognizes the gamepad right away. Yeah, so it seems to be working. There we go. So that's pretty good. It seems to be like I didn't set up anything. It's just plugged in and it's just working right away, which is what I like. I don't want to fuck with settings, right? So let's just quit this game. I think I have Google Stadia on here. It's a game called Embr. I never played Google Stadia. I signed up for it. I got some free months and then I tried it out, but I don't think it's gonna last. I'll probably get rid of it. I've never played this game, so I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm just hoping it will recognize controls. So it does appear to be recognizing the inputs just fine. I jumped there. Let me hit this button, so it goes this. Alright, and then if this one doesn't do anything, but this one takes you right to the settings menu like you should. And then I can just quit. Maybe. B to go back to the game. Alright, I don't know why I picked Stadia. I never played anything here, so I couldn't tell you how it runs. So this is the big deal here, is that it's launching with this game streaming app, which is the Xbox. I am on Project xCloud. Alright, so it's like xCloud's down, I guess, until because it doesn't actually come out until I think September 15th. But that's alright. So let's go ahead. What I do have is GeForce Now. Let's go to GeForce Now. So it is looking like it's letting me log into GeForce Now just fine. So let's play some Rogue. This is my current favorite game. Do a little network test. So I am currently on my Wi-Fi. It would work just fine over. I'm on the 5G server, so I think it would work just fine either way. My Wi-Fi is pretty strong, so I feel confident that should be alright. So notice there's not a headphone jack on here, is there? So there's audio coming from the phone, but there's no headphone jack on here. Seems like an overstatement. Oh, a misstep there. But we can see right there, it works with the settings just fine. B will go back. This will bring up my friends. Yeah, so right off the bat, it's recognizing all the controls. So I know they're selling this for the game streaming thing, but for me, I'm thinking GeForce Now is really going to be the king of the game streaming. So I'm just going to hit a yeah, without even having to map anything. It works just fine. I am doing it wired, of course, so I should have reduced the input lag. It's going to be a pretty great picture. I'm going to go to settings and see what it put me on. Yeah, so I remembered my settings from the Chromebook. Yeah, so I'm pretty impressed with GeForce Now. I'm going to use glitch. I've made a bunch of videos on Rogue that, so yeah, I mean obviously they're wired, and so it's USB, but there's no lag, and this is, you know, on the cloud as well, and it does not seem to be any issue really. Other than getting shot a bunch, the game seems to be running pretty great. I don't know how much that's coming off on video, but screen-wise, I mean, it's pretty stellar. I like it. I mean, the graphics look great. I don't notice any lag. Again, but I have a strong Wi-Fi signal, and I have obviously I'm wired directly in. I might be playing better on mobile than I do on normal. GeForce Now worked perfectly fine. Any lag was from the the internet, not the controller itself. The controller feels great. I primarily play on Xbox these days. I used to be primarily a Switch player, but now that we're all home because of the pandemic, Xbox is my go-to device, and this feels just like an Xbox controller. Even better, really. It has like a cool grip back here, and then it's kind of like a matte finish. So I like that. Now, last thing we're gonna do here is just show you how to connect to Bluetooth. So first thing you do is switch this over to Bluetooth mode. So press this button to turn the controller on. This lights up. All right, and then press and hold this Bluetooth button. Now enter sync mode. You can see how fast it's flickering. And then we go to Bluetooth here, and then we will just look for the MOGA right there. Now we're paired, synced up, and for this part I will go ahead and slap this guy on. Alright, so we do appear to be working here. Very hard to hold this and play and record a video at the same time. So in real life it'll be much easier. I'm just going to go back to NBA Jam.
And this lucky fan is shooting for the new car. Stimulated ducks it hard. Kobe with the rejection. Still in possession. Oh, the sweet potato casserole.
Yeah, so I mean, it seems to work just fine. It's a little top heavy-ish, but that could be the way I have it angled. I'm at a very odd angle here to hold the device and record and then keep it somewhat in camera still.
Making space. Launch out. Come on.
Alright, so yeah, and then you hit this Xbox. Oh yeah, there you go. So when you're on Bluetooth, you hit this button, it goes right to the Xbox game. Alright, yeah, so I guess we're not really fully set up until September 15th. So I'll make a separate video on Game Pass when it comes out. But for now, just the controller itself works great. It even says designed for Samsung, which is pretty neat, or designed for Xbox. So that's pretty neat. This is just the first look at it, opening setup. I feel fairly confident in it holding the phone. Like you can see, I hold it like this, and it doesn't seem to be moving. And this is a relatively heavy phone. All right, so my first impressions are pretty positive. Let's take this guy out first, and then this guy should come off pretty easily. And I like that you can just turn it off, because a lot of times with Bluetooth controllers, you just have to wait for it to disconnect. I don't like that. So really, yeah, this guy could be my go-to controller, because I travel. Like I said, I could use this with my Chromebook or my Windows laptop or my phone. Yeah, so like when I'm traveling, I could use it on my phone, like when I'm on the airplane, instead of breaking out my Switch. So instead of having to carry my Switch, I'll just have to carry my controller, because obviously I'm carrying my phone, and I carry a controller anyhow. And then when I'm in the hotel, I could play on my computer using this guy. So I'll make a separate video where I test it out with a Chromebook and test it out over USB with a Windows device, and we'll see how that works. Alright, but for now, thanks for checking me out. Feel free to subscribe to the channel. It's good for you. I'll have a lot more videos coming up on GeForce Now and Game Pass, and we'll try out just regular games. We're going to download Fortnite and try it on here from the Samsung Galaxy Store, and using this controller to see how my son likes that, because it has the back buttons. He's always a big baby about having back buttons to play Fortnite. So this one has it, so he should be pretty excited about that then. Thanks for checking me out. Leave a comment, ask me any questions. You want me to see something, test something specifically, and let me know and I'll check it out. Alright, thanks.